For more than 4 decades, one question has followed Robert Plant everywhere he goes. He hears it backstage, outside hotels, during interviews, even from fans who run up to him on the street. Will Led Zeppelin ever reunite? It doesn't matter if he's promoting a new album, a charity project, or a world tour. The question always returns. And every time, Robert Plant gives an answer that surprises people. He says no, and not just a normal no. He says it with feeling. He says it like he's tired of explaining something deeper. But behind that simple answer is a long story. A story filled with tension, pain, love, anger, and something he rarely talks about. His complicated relationship with Jimmy Page, the man who built Led Zeppelin's sound and helped shape Robert's entire career. From the outside, fans think it's just two legends who don't want to do a reunion. But inside the band, emotions were stronger than anyone could imagine. There were disagreements about music, bad memories from the final years, and one huge emotional wound that never healed. This chapter opens the door to a truth fans rarely hear: how two close friends became distant, and why Robert believes the magic of Led Zeppelin cannot be recreated again. And before this story ends, you will learn the exact moment Robert realized Zeppelin was truly finished, forever, and why Jimmy Page still disagrees with him to this day. To understand their feud, you must go back to the early days, when Robert Plant was young, fearless, wild, and fully committed to the strange, mystical world Jimmy Page loved. Back then, they were inseparable. Robert trusted Jimmy completely, and Jimmy saw in Robert the voice he had always imagined for his dream band. But success came fast. Too fast. Led Zeppelin wasn't just popular. They became the biggest rock band in the world. They sold out stadiums, crashed hotel lobbies, and created a new style of music that nobody else could copy. Behind that success, something else was happening. Jimmy became more controlling about the band's sound. Robert wanted freedom, new ideas, new styles, and new challenges. The difference didn't cause a fight at first, but it planted a seed. Years on the road, non-stop pressure, and the weight of being Led Zeppelin started building a wall between the two. Jimmy dove deeper into the darker, heavier side of music. Robert, after personal tragedy, wanted something spiritual, emotional, and gentler. Their visions began to clash. Even though fans only saw the magic on stage, behind closed doors, the creative tension was turning into something more personal. And Robert would soon face something that changed him forever. Something that made continuing Zeppelin feel impossible. In 1977, Led Zeppelin was at its peak. They were global kings. But one phone call shattered Robert Plant's world. His 5-year-old son, Karak, had suddenly died from a stomach infection. Robert was thousands of miles away on tour. The news destroyed him. He blamed himself for being on the road. He blamed fame. And deep inside, he blamed Led Zeppelin. After the funeral, Robert didn't want to sing anymore. He didn't want to be Robert Plant, the rock god. He just wanted peace. But Jimmy Page had a different reaction. He wanted to keep going. He thought the music would help Robert heal. Robert saw this as pressure, the kind of pressure he could no longer live with. When the band finally returned in 1979 with In Through the Outdoor, Robert was a different person. His lyrics became emotional and personal. Jimmy didn't connect with this new style. He felt Robert was moving away from Zeppelin's identity. This emotional divide became the heart of their feud. Robert felt Jimmy didn't understand his pain. Jimmy felt Robert was abandoning the band that made them legends. And just when they thought things couldn't get worse, the final blow came. The one moment that officially ended Led Zeppelin and created a wound that still affects their relationship to this day. On September 25, 1980, John Bonham, the heartbeat of Led Zeppelin, died after a night of heavy drinking. It was sudden, it was shocking, and it crushed the band. Robert Plant lost not only a bandmate, but a brother. They had grown up together. They laughed the same, fought the same, and traveled the world side by side. Bonham wasn't just the drummer. He was family. Jimmy Page, too, was devastated. But Robert took it harder than anyone. To him, Bonham's death wasn't only a personal tragedy. It was a message. The universe was telling him Zeppelin had taken enough from him. First his son, now his closest friend. In private, Robert told people he could never imagine standing on a stage again without Bonzo behind him. Jimmy believed the band could eventually continue in some form, but Robert refused. This became the silent split. Fans didn't know it, but inside the band, Robert and Jimmy weren't grieving in the same way. Robert felt Jimmy was holding on too tight to Zeppelin's legacy. Jimmy felt Robert was letting it go too easily. When the band officially announced they were dead, it wasn't a group decision. It was Robert's decision, and Jimmy never truly accepted it. From that day, their relationship changed. They respected each other, but the friendship was broken, and this tension would grow even stronger when Jimmy tried to bring Zeppelin back, and Robert refused. After Zeppelin ended, Jimmy Page didn't know who he was without the band. He lived for the music, the mystique, the power of Zeppelin. To him, Zeppelin wasn't finished. It was paused. But Robert Plant was moving in the opposite direction. He wanted to reinvent himself. He wanted new sounds, new musicians, and a life far away from the weight of Zeppelin. Every time Jimmy tried to reconnect and restart a Zeppelin-style project, Robert stepped back. Jimmy saw this as betrayal. Robert saw it as survival. In the late 80s, Jimmy pushed for a reunion. Robert agreed briefly, but the sessions were rough. Old tensions resurfaced. Jimmy wanted heavy guitars. Robert wanted something modern. They ended up walking out of sessions frustrated, each feeling misunderstood. Their feud wasn't loud or explosive. It was quiet, painful, and full of unspoken feelings. But the biggest clash came in 2007, when the world watched them reunite for the final time. That night was magical. Fans begged for a world tour. Jimmy was ready. The band was ready. The world was ready. But Robert Plant said the word nobody wanted to hear. No. And the reason behind this no is the deepest part of their story, and the thing Robert rarely talks about. The Ahmet Ertegun tribute concert was more than a performance. It was the night the world realized Zeppelin could still shake the earth. Robert sang like he was 25 again. Jimmy played with fire. Jason Bonham honored his father with power and heart. Fans thought this was the beginning of something big. Even Jimmy Page felt it. After the show, he told friends, "We can do this. Zeppelin is back." But Robert was quiet. Something about the night felt final to him. Not a beginning. A goodbye. In interviews, he praised the show, praised Jimmy, praised Jason, but he didn't support a reunion tour. Jimmy pushed for months, so did promoters, so did fans. But Robert's answer didn't change. Jimmy believed Robert was blocking the band's future. Robert believed Jimmy was ignoring the band's past. This disagreement reignited the tension between them. They stopped talking for long periods. Jimmy hinted in interviews that Robert was the reason the band wouldn't return. Fans took Jimmy's side. Robert became the villain. But he stayed quiet, until the day he finally revealed the truth. Robert Plant doesn't refuse a Zeppelin reunion because of money, schedules, or ego. He refuses because of memory and grief. To him, Led Zeppelin is a moment in time with people who can never be replaced. When he closes his eyes and hears those songs, he doesn't think of fame or glory. He thinks of Bonzo. Standing on stage without John Bonham feels wrong to him, even if Jason plays beautifully. Robert doesn't want to turn Zeppelin into a nostalgia show. He believes it deserves dignity. But the deeper truth is this: every time he performs Zeppelin songs, he feels pain. The songs remind him of the years when he was losing everything: his son, his friend, his peace. For Jimmy, the songs mean power and legacy. For Robert, they mean heartbreak. This emotional difference is the root of their feud, not anger, not hate, Just two men who lived the same story but felt it completely differently. Jimmy Page rarely criticizes anyone publicly, but when it comes to Led Zeppelin reunions, he speaks openly. He has said multiple times that he is ready at any time. He has hinted that he's disappointed in Robert. He has expressed that the fans deserve more. Robert hears these comments, and they hurt him, because to him, Jimmy is not understanding the emotional weight he carries. At one point, Robert even said, "I'm not stuck in the past. Some people are." Fans immediately knew he was talking about Jimmy. This created a new wave of tension. Not the creative war of the old days, but a philosophical one. Jimmy wants the world to feel that Zeppelin thunder again. Robert wants the world to let Zeppelin rest with honor. Neither is wrong, but they cannot agree. And this is why they remain distant even today. For years their disagreements stayed private, but slowly, interviews from both men began revealing small pieces of the truth. Jimmy said Robert didn't step up. Robert said some people need to move on. Jimmy said he had nothing to do because Robert wouldn't agree. Robert said he doesn't want to be a jukebox. These statements confirmed what fans guessed. The friendship was fractured. But the most shocking moment came when Robert finally opened up during an interview and admitted something heartbreaking, something most fans never expected him to say. He confessed that being in Led Zeppelin again would feel like pretending he was the same man, pretending he hadn't lost what he lost, and pretending that the band was whole. Robert doesn't want to pretend, and that honesty is what separates him and Jimmy to this day. Despite everything, Robert and Jimmy still respect each other deeply. They changed music together. They wrote songs that shaped generations. They lived through unbelievable highs and soul-crushing lows. But respect isn't enough to erase the emotional distance between them. They live completely different lives now. Jimmy stays close to the Zeppelin legacy. Robert keeps exploring new sounds with new musicians. They aren't enemies, but they aren't close friends either. They are two halves of a story that can never be repeated. And both of them know this truth, even if they see it from opposite sides. In the end, the answer is simple, but painful. Led Zeppelin will never reunite because the band Robert and Jimmy remember no longer exists. Too much has changed. Too many wounds remain. Too many ghosts follow the music. For Robert Plant, a reunion would feel like reopening old scars. For Jimmy Page, it would feel like celebrating the magic they created. Two legends, two truths, one impossible reunion. So when Robert Plant says never, he means it with love, respect, and a heart full of memories the world will never fully understand. Led Zeppelin ended with Bonzo, and in Robert's eyes, that is exactly where it should remain.